We are now live. I want to welcome everyone who is part of the show, or who's going to be part of the show, and you didn't see this part, to the show. I'm Jay Tate. I'm from auburnsports.com. I don't know if you know that, but you can see right here it says Jay Tate, auburnsports.com. We also got Neal in the house from rebelgrove.com, and, of course, our friend Gabriel DeArmond from Jefferson, Columbia.
It's one of those J-towns.
Columbia, Missouri. He is the captain, the Commodore at powermizzou.com. I was going through the list of things we need to talk about today. And the headphone situation with Neal was terrible. But you can see right here. What was that?
That was me. I popped open a window so I can share this link, and your audio came up for a second.
Oh, that's no big deal.
Now it's gone. So, yeah, you're good.
So I ruined Neal spent. Is it fair to say how much I spent? How much you spent, Neal?
Let's just say it was an expensive pair of headphones.
It's an expensive pair of headphones, and they're not merely expensive. They're excellent. I mean, it's not just money. It's handcrafted headphones, honestly. And within 5 minutes of me using them, I broke them in a way that I'm still not sure how I did it, but I did it.
I think it was just an absolute fluke.
It wasn't
I
like
think it was just a scientific, like a millimeter here or a millimeter there, and they're perfectly fine.
I wasn't listening to Metallica or anything, and doing any of that. No Rage Against the Machine. But anyway, I broke them, and Neal had to go back and work with the guy at the store. But there's a happy ending to the story, so I'm glad about that.
Yeah, all's well that ends well. Couldn't have been nicer. I think he called because at first I think he was skeptical of our account.
He was,
and he made a call to the corporate people that make the headphones, and they're like, "Is it this spot right here?" And I was like, "Yes." And he said, "Yeah, we've had a little bit of an issue with that. If you just happen to press down on that and that exact precise little place, we've had some problems." And they said, we'll fix it right away. And so he put a temporary thing on it, and they're rushing the new part in, and they all work. And I'll say this, they are excellent headphones.
They sound great.
They are really good.
They're super light on your head, but they sound great. So good for you.
Do you have to take out a second mortgage or anything?
I mean, they're not
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it wasn't that much, but,
What kind have you got, Gabriel?
That's a good question.
Oh, no, you and I have the same ones. We have the same.
Yeah, they're similar.
The Sony monitors.
Yeah,
these are wonderful. I love these. I listened to Neal's listening to Herbie Hancock on a record player, which is that's peak Oxford, like, to me.
Yeah.
We were in like a no-name record store listening to Herbie Hancock on a record player, and that was perfect. Yeah.
My son's girlfriend got him a record player for his birthday.
Does he have records?
But he's in the process of acquiring records.
Oh, word.
Now.
They are expensive, Neal. I don't know if you looked at the prices, but the records were $25.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not paying that.
Oh,
Considering it's included with the price on Spotify. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Maybe you do now.
I do now.
Leif B wanted to let us know that somehow was there a 60 Minutes piece on Ed Orgeron? Like 60 Minutes did a thing on him?
It's tonight.
It airs
tonight. They have done it. Yeah, it's their. They went in about playing college football in COVID.
And they chose Ed Orgeron?
They chose LSU, and apparently the piece is very Orgeron centric.
I mean, he has the most experience with COVID and college football because his whole team has had it. So
oh, that's true.
They should have done it on him and Matt Wells.
Leif B says he's been collecting records for his son since before he was born, Neal. So there you go.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
He got the Pearl Jam box set or whatever. I don't know what you listen to, Leif. I'm sure it's tasteful though, because you're a badass.
Tasteful.
Nah, Leif. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
All right, are we good to go, fellers?
Yeah, we're good.
What other topics did y'all want to delve into? I know all the hard hitting topics.
We get week one, and this story about what really happened to the Titanic is fascinating to me.
Oh, that's a real thing? I thought you were kidding.
No, it's a real thing.
Nope. Talking about.
They think that the Titanic went down not because it hit an iceberg, but because there was a solar flares and such that messed up all of the navigation tools, and it was 13 miles off course. That's
Wow.
why they didn't really know where they were.
Solar flares, huh?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I'll have to pull the story up. It was pretty interesting.
Hey, speaking of that, Kate Winslet looked pretty hot in the movie Titanic.
Yeah.
Would you hit that?
Yeah. I mean, back in the day?
Today.
Well, today probably not be the best idea in the world.
Oh.
Busy. Yeah.
But I mean, back in the day, yeah, sure, of course.
All right, cool.
If she, I mean, considering she was, compliant.
Well, obviously, I mean.
Yeah, let's not have the other part of that discussion.
Yeah, I don't want to have that discussion.
I mean,
I'm trying to pull
I
up
want her to be agreeable to the situation.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously.
I'm
trying to find a SEC Week 1 here.
I've got it right here in front of me.
Oh, you do?
Including team rankings, fresh rankings from the Associated Press.
Oh, okay.
You got a battle of top 25 teams on your first game, Jay.
I can just do play-by-play of the U.S. Open while everybody's watching, if you guys would prefer that to talking about SEC football.
Well, be careful, Gabriel, because, I know you love golf.
Number 20, Kentucky, and number 5, Auburn. Number 8, Auburn, I'm sorry. Number 8, Auburn. Number 23, Kentucky. Kentucky getting 13.5 points, man.
I
like points.
Is that right? I thought it was 7 last night when I looked it up. What the hell?
I don't know. OddsShark has it at 13.5, but now they've not updated some of the other games, so perhaps that line's moved down in different places.
Oh, my gosh.
13.5 just feels like a massive number.
Yeah, I would take Kentucky in that.
Going to be irate about these rankings all year because, like, Ohio State's not going to be in them. Then all of a sudden they're going to pop in, and teams have played 4 games, and Ohio State's going to be, like, number 3.
Yeah, Auburn moved up from 11 to 8 because they removed some teams or something. I don't know.
Okay, so we'll talk about this a little bit. If you were an AP voter, would you vote for Big Ten teams before they played, or would you wait for them to play games?
You're allowed to. They were eligible for the first poll, and now they can't. Now they're not part of the poll until they play.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you could start voting for them again next week because they've announced a schedule.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that now that they have a schedule, you can vote for them again next week.
Okay.
That's good to know.
I would not vote for a team that hadn't played a game yet.
Let's not waste all our good stuff before the show starts.
Okay.
I mean,
Gabriel, you got any topics?
I don't know. Chiefs play at 3:30. Chiefs play in like 55 minutes.
Oh, we got to get going then. Let's get going.
All right, here we go.
Yes.
3, 2. Welcome into this edition of Greatest Spot in the South, sponsored by Automation and Control Systems, LLC. I'm Neal McCready. JG Tate is in Montgomery, Alabama. Gabe DeArmond is in lovely downtown Joplin, Missouri, getting excited for, Columbia, Missouri. Jay and I are so obsessed with Joplin that we just want everyone to be in Joplin each and every week. But Gabe is in Columbia, right there with PowerMizzou.com. Gabe's first live show coming up on Wednesday night. Everyone's very excited about that. You got a test run on Tuesday, the live show on Wednesday. Jay went 4+ hours last night at auburnsports.com. We had a show at rebelgrove.com. So lots of stuff on your YouTubes for you to view as you get excited for week 1 in the SEC. It's game week in our league that we cover. First run of games starts on Saturday. Full slate of games, including 2 11 a.m. games. So we'll talk about SEC football. We'll talk about the Titanic. We'll talk about a lot of stuff here on the big show. First, I want to tell you about ACS. It's owned by Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi, established in 2013. ACS is a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. ACS has a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and so much more. They're a full-service AutoCAD services provider and a full-service fiber optic cabling solution provider. So if you're in need of custom HMI and SCADA solutions or large horsepower VFD specialist, ACS has you covered. ACS can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with ACS, go to acsllcms.com. Again, that's acsllcms.com. LLCMS.com, or call 662-601-4381. I'm coming to you from the Clark Ford Studios. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. The number is 662-257-1900. You call that number. You ask for Corey Clark. You tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. You're in the market for a vehicle, even if you're not sure you're in the market for a Ford, even if you don't live anywhere close to Amory, Mississippi, do us a favor. Call that number and get a quote. It's going to help you moving forward, and it just might end up getting you into a Ford vehicle. Great deal, great service. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll go the extra mile to make that happen. 662-257-1900. Jay, Gabe, how are you all?
Hi, it's great to be part of the show. You guys look so resplendent in your fine video cameras, and also Gabriel's, dressed up, looks like just like a real professional guy.
He does look very professional today. You do too, and I'm wearing a Chicago Bears jersey, so I'm the odd man out.
Yeah. Are you Khalil Mack? Is that who that is?
Yeah, I'm Khalil Mack today.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there. He's a dominant NFL defensive player.
No, he's good.
You get an Urlacher jersey on clearance these days, I think.
Yeah, he's been retired a minute.
I love the Bears digs. God, I just can't get enough. I hate the Bears. I've always hated the Bears.
Oh, really?
Do you like the Bears really, or is it just kind of like, well, I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, might as well?
Well, a little bit of it was I've just never really had an NFL team, and so it was like I'm gonna get a team just to have a team, and we picked the Bears because that was kind of convenient.
It was a Super Bowl shuffle, wasn't it?
I did like the Super Bowl shuffle back when I was a kid. When I was about 14, 15 years old, when the Bears were so dominant and they had that was fun now, for real. But I don't really. I mean, I like them. I'm not like a diehard fan. Although I have sat here and watched their entire game against the Giants today.
Are they playing well?
They're up 17-10, 5:48 to go in the game. They got off to a big start. They haven't played particularly well. The story of this game, the Giants lost Saquon Barkley to what appeared to be a pretty serious knee injury.
Oh, jeez.
It's
been injury day in the NFL. A lot of guys have gone down. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Drew Lock got hurt. I know.
Oh, that's right. Lock went down. That's right.
Wait, is Garoppolo, is he like seriously injured or?
I don't know. It's a knee, I think, but he's not coming back to this game today. So no one has said. Apparently, there's just been a bunch of injuries today.
And what's up with Drew Lock?
I didn't see what happened to him. I just know he's out, and I can tell you, a random former SEC quarterback that I learned today is the Broncos' backup. You guys remember Jeff Driscoll from Florida?
Oh, vaguely, yeah.
I had no idea he was getting paid to play football in the NFL, but he is the. He wasn't really good in college, was he? I think then went to Louisiana Tech, maybe.
Well, I mean that's Neal's hometown, but
isn't that where he went after?
He transferred to Louisiana Tech and finished his career there. It was okay.
Yeah. Well, the reason he was okay at La Tech was because his star receiver was Trent Taylor, who's now with the 49ers, and he carried that dude to Louisiana Tech.
I never heard of him.
Yeah, he plays for the 49ers. Good little player out of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
All right, anyway, this is GPITS episode number 115, Neal McGreevy. How about that? That's a long time. Never thought we'd get to 100, but 115 is kind of like 15 more than 100, and that's crazy. It's 15% more.
Transylvania math is amazing. It
wow.
really is. It's just
checks out. Yeah.
It checks out. I got a calculator over here to make sure everything's good. Listen, I want to start today with NFL Red Zone, which has changed my life, and it's changed a lot of lives out there. Scott Hansen, obviously, is a guy that we all love and respect and admire, and I would give him cash money and do a $20 handshake if I met him, just for the times that he's been there for me. He's the host of the show, and they have basically whip-around coverage for NFL games on Sundays, and I'm talking about really, really quick. There is zero tolerance for commercials. And I know every touchdown is shown. I don't know if every score is shown. Sometimes field goals, maybe they sneak it in a little bit later. But it's almost to the point now where I don't really want to watch the NFL if I'm not watching Red Zone. And I wonder if that's an opinion that you guys share with me.
I tend to agree. I watch a lot of Red Zone unless there's a game that I'm in particularly dialed into, like today where I just wanted to watch the Bears. So I really haven't flipped to Red Zone much at all. But usually, yeah, I'm on Red Zone. Because it makes NFL Sunday kind of just fun,
yeah,
and it makes it where you can sort of casually follow the day, and you don't have to be locked into a game.
See, I'm the opposite. I've never watched Red Zone, actually. I want to watch the Chiefs, and I want to watch that for 3.5 hours every Sunday. But other than that, like, I think I'll turn on Patriots Seahawks tonight for a little bit, but I'm not going to sit and watch the whole game. I don't really care that much unless we get to like week 14 and hey, the Chiefs are battling somebody for a number 1 seed. I might watch that team, but I don't care about the Lions and the Packers and the Colts and the Vikings. None of that really matters to me, so I don't have a lot of interest.
That's great. I'm like on the other side from you. Like I don't really have a team. I like the Browns, but I mean, being a Browns fan is like hating yourself.
Hey, Joe Burrow.
The Browns have Joe Burrow. Is that what he said?
They beat Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they
Thursday.
did the other night. He got a late touchdown to make it look reasonable, but I thought the Browns were significantly better in that game. Anyway, outside of the Browns, I just like all football equally. I don't really care. So Red Zone's perfect for me. I love watching all the games. I just want to watch a good game. If it's Jags and Titans, that's fine. I don't care. And so Red Zone's perfect for me.
But you actually get to watch any of a game, right? Isn't it just, hey, a drive here, then we're going to a drive at the other game? Basically?
Yeah, but I don't give a shit if – I mean,
right.
The stuff they're not showing is stuff I don't want to see anyway, right?
I got you.
Unless they're showing cheerleaders, in which case I'd love to see it.
That might be a channel soon.
I'll do it.
Red.
Hell yeah. I would do that.
You know what's funny is the last few years pre-COVID, I was getting to where I didn't watch as much football. And these last 2 weeks, even though the football's kind of weird and it looks weird and it sounds weird and all that stuff, I've been truly so relieved that football's back from probably a business standpoint as much as anything. And I've watched a lot of football.
I want to ask you guys this. Does it seem normal to you guys? Like, I watched even the Chiefs-Texans opener. I kind of felt like I was watching a practice game. And I don't know if that's because there are no fans or because there's not really been any build-up. Maybe it'll change this weekend when SEC games are back, but it hasn't really felt like I've been watching games that count.
Yeah, I hadn't really noticed that now. I mean, I know that it's a little rickety, a little bit. I mean, it's a little disjointed at times. I mean, the Chiefs are just so good. Like, I watch them, and I don't really.
Overall, I mean, not a ton of. Hadn't looked as bad as a lot of people thought it would, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem to me like football season has started, and maybe that changes. Next Saturday when we're all actually talking about games.
Yeah, I've noticed it more in the college games. I felt like they've been really ragged. Now, to be fair, I've been watching South Alabama because my daughter goes there, and they're just so at best. So maybe they're just not a great team to judge by, but it's just very, like their Tulane game, it was just foul and silly overthrow and fumble and just crap football. And their first game against Southern Miss, crap football. And, I don't know.
They were like national champs after 6 quarters, though. I mean, it's gone maybe a little downhill from there. The first game and a half, they looked unbeatable.
They were tough. They were tough until they let Tulane, they were up 24-6 or something like that at home. Yeah, you just can't let them come in.
Some of the appeal of college football, especially outside of the Power Five, is the craziness of it, the unpredictability of it. It's not like watching an NFL game between 2 veteran quarterbacks. I mean, you're sort of watching, knowing that you're there to some degree for the train wreck.
So are we going to see? Are we going to see weird stuff when the SEC starts up this weekend? I mean, like, look, Missouri's going to lose to Alabama. But they would lose to Alabama anytime. But I've said, if there's ever a time where you say, well, if I've got to play Alabama, go ahead and play them in week 1, coming off a freaking pandemic where nobody's had camp, nobody's had practice, nobody knows who's going to show up. I mean, there's going to be some weird things happen these first couple weeks, right?
Absolutely. It sure seems like the home field advantage is kind of gone now. You watched that Tulsa-Oklahoma State game yesterday. I think OSU ended up pulling it out, but in the first half, I mean, Tulsa was the better football team, and there ain't no way they're better than Oklahoma State. So I feel like not having the home crowd just kind of neutralizes teams. I don't know if maybe 5 or 6 weeks into the season when they get used to being at home, I'm sure it feels like a scrimmage to them. I mean, you got no fans.
You have to create your own energy, and a college football game is so long that staying energized for almost 4 hours is difficult, and there's no fans to feed it. And then you get into the continuity that none of these teams have, because they've all had some form of a COVID issue at some point where some whole units were basically sidelined for 14 to 21 days, whatever the number is, and so everything's just kind of erratic. So here's the question: in week 1, do you expect an upset in week 1 in the SEC? Not telling you to predict one, but an underdog because there's going to be some significant underdogs
in the games, because I know a few of them, but I don't know all of them.
All right, so here's the slate for Saturday. Kentucky is at Auburn. Florida is at Ole Miss. Mississippi State is at LSU in Baton Rouge.
Ooh.
Georgia goes to Fayetteville to play Arkansas. Alabama's at Missouri. Tennessee is at South Carolina, and Vanderbilt's at Texas A&M. I mean, we're talking about some considerable underdogs. There are going to be some big betting lines.
Georgia can't lose. A&M can't lose. Alabama probably can't lose. I mean, I don't see any way in those three.
Who's Georgia playing?
Georgia's playing Arkansas. All right, let's do it this way. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the possibility of an upset? Kentucky is the underdog at Auburn. 1 to 10, what's Kentucky's chance to win the game? Not cover the spread, win the game.
So it is like a 7. I mean, I think is anything over 5 means I think they're going to win. 7
means it's, hey, I think there's a real chance. I mean, a 2 would be like, oh, come on. I guess they could flip, they could pull something off. A 5 means, hey, there's a real chance. And if you say it's a 9 or a 10, you're predicting an upset.
I'd put that around a 6 then. Like, I think Kentucky's definitely got a shot.
So I'd put it at about a 3, maybe a 4. I think Auburn's going to win the game. If you told me the line was too big, I'd buy that. But I think Auburn's going to win. But Auburn's one of those teams, they had some COVID issues where they had to shut down for basically a week. So, there might be some continuity issues for Auburn early part of the season.
Yeah, I think the line's actually 7, McCready. I don't know.
And that line feels about right.
Yeah.
At one point, someone said the line was 13.5, and I was like, that line's crazy.
No, there's
no way. That's way too high.
On the scale that you mentioned, McCready.
Florida is at Ole Miss. I think Florida's going to be about a 9-point favorite. What 1 to 10, where would you give Ole Miss a chance of pulling off an upset? Lane Kiffin's debut.
2.
Put it at 2 or 3 because I don't really know anything about Ole Miss.
No one does. No one's seen them practice.
Do you even have a quarterback?
I think the quarterback will be Matt Corral.
Really? Okay.
Why not Plumlee, who's like the fastest quarterback he was fun to watch last year.
The media disconnect with the Ole Miss quarterback thing is so funny. Almost all media who cover Ole Miss think that Corral probably should be the quarterback because he gives them a passing game. He missed it. That screws me up on the betting line. And then the people who are national or who just saw Ole Miss play the one time, like you guys did pretty much. You saw one Ole Miss game when they played Missouri, when they play Auburn. Everybody kind of fell in love with Plumlee's feet and his speed. But what you forget, in all of those games, Ole Miss would fall way behind.
Yeah.
The other team would kind of go to sleep, turn it off, and then Plumlee would make some plays, and everybody go, oh, this kid's amazing. In large part, and I'm not picking on the kid, but a lot of times it was because the TV guys needed something to talk about. Like LSU was ahead of Ole Miss 38-7 or whatever. I mean, LSU was like, okay, this is over. Let's go home. And then Plumlee puts up a bunch of numbers running the football, and everybody's like, wow, look at this. And so I think that's sort of the narrative that gets established a little bit. I think if Ole Miss is going to win with one of those two quarterbacks, it's Corral, just because he can throw the football.
Can I get a point of clarification real quick? I just want to make sure the last time I was on this show, that Neal uttered the exact phrase, if you bet on games this year, you are an idiot. And then he just that screws me on the betting line. I could be wrong, but
well, I've got Bears -5.5, and they're up 4, and they just tried to kick a field goal that would have put them up 7.
So
and he missed it. So yes, I am an idiot.
Yeah, that's mostly what I was looking for. There is
well, there you have it. I will freely own that label.
Self-evident. Yes. Let's go the next game.
Mitch Trubisky hype though.
Because I've got an upset special.
Okay.
We haven't gotten
so here we go.
Yet.
Next one. Mississippi State is at LSU.
Yeah, that's the one. I have.
You like it, right?
I mean, I have questions about LSU, and I also suspect that Mike Leach is going to be able to come up with something before everybody figures out in the SEC what he's doing.
Do we know who their quarterback is?
Yeah, it's the kid from that's transferred in from Stanford. Costello.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Mike Leach, like, he never wins a title, but he wins everywhere, man. He's had like 1 or 2 losing seasons.
Well, he's been at weird places, though, right? I mean,
but he's been at places that are hard to win. I mean,
he's been at the Mississippi
State. Texas Tech and get them to number 3 in the country. Washington State was in the running for a title a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a hard time with SEC defenses because these dudes are going to be so fast. He won't be able. His air raid will be less effective. But we still got. I mean, he's still kind of a new concept. I mean, Ogeron and his people know they're what they're going to be facing systemically, right?
No team in college football history has lost more than LSU lost from last year, though.
Absolutely.
Not just players, coaches.
Yeah, Joe Brady out. Jamar Chase has opted out.
Aranda's gone.
Yeah, Aranda went to Baylor, so the whole defense is different.
So I think that's one that I would say 5 on your scale, McCready, on there. I would give Mississippi State a chance. I really would.
They're better. Mississippi State's chances better than Kentucky's chance to beat Auburn, you think?
I think it's similar, but better, maybe a little better.
I think Kentucky's chance a little better, but I'm willing to say I'm an idiot come Saturday night.
I just think we in the media do a little bit of this, not the three of us, but just in general, a little bit of, oh gosh, LSU, man, there's no way they drop off. I think there's a chance they drop off precipitously.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the year they had last
season. They could be looking at like 6-4 pretty easily, don't you think?
Ooh,
and they're owed some bad karma too, man.
Or lower than that.
Everything that could have gone right for them last year did.
I mean, if they lose to Bama, they lose to Auburn. You know, you got A&M, Florida, and
Georgia.
Be 6-4. I don't think they play Georgia.
Oh, do they not play Georgia? I thought they did.
Georgia plays Auburn and Alabama.
Okay.
Well, I guarantee you the LSU people at 6-4 would still drink a lot. So I mean, they got that going for them.
LSU gets Florida and Missouri. I know.
Okay.
Missouri.
I think Vandy maybe.
I do want to say about Auburn. I know that you look, they lost Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson, 2 of the really truly great defenders in the SEC last year, and they don't have a superstar guy like that ready to go just yet. But man, Auburn, I've never seen Auburn with this much depth on defense. I mean, they've got like 30 dudes where I'm like, that dude's a player, that dude's a player, that dude's a player.
How much of the Auburn thing is what you think of Bo Nix?
On defense?
No, just how much your perception, anybody's perception of Auburn, just random guy. But I think there's a pretty wide range. I think there's people that think Bo Nix is a superstar, and I think there's people that say, yeah, they won games, but I don't know if it was because of him.
Yeah, I can see that. He even among the Auburn folks, he's a little bit of a wild card. I mean, some people love him, and some people are like, whatever. You know, his dad was such a good player here in the 90s, so people kind of like him. And Bo's a very mannerly, friendly person, so the fan base likes him. But I understand what you're saying. Did he do anything super special last year? No, he didn't. He was competent, and I saw a quarterback.
He was a true freshman, though.
I know. And he was getting – you could see him from game 1 to game 7 or so. He was just make every game just a little bit better, a little bit better.
And I think because of that comeback against Oregon, that touchdown throw late, like people set these expectations for him that nobody could reach, right? Last year.
Yeah, were the expectations that high, though?
I think after that game, a lot of people started saying, hey, here's this superstar kid, and he's not a superstar, but that's okay to not be a superstar as a true freshman. I think he's a fine quarterback. I don't know if he's great.
I don't know that I'd say superstar, but I do think after that Oregon game, people started grading him on a different curve.
That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, I've got my head in the Auburn sphere, so I don't necessarily hear or see that. And I don't know as we had these conversations, the three of us, but I feel like Bo Nix, I didn't feel like the expectations after the game in Texas made it any different. And I thought he had a hell of a freshman year. So, but I don't think he's a superstar. He might be as a junior. I don't know.
Right. Like he was good. He's good.
He's good. Yeah. He's a guy he's one of those quarterbacks that you want on your team. He's going to fight every single snap. And Matt Corral, just from what I've seen of him, is that kind of kid too. So I have no reservations with him. I like quarterbacks that start fights. I think that's pretty kick-ass.
Corral got screwed last year. Whether he's a good quarterback or not, we'll find out. I don't know. But he got screwed last year. That was his job. He's 3 weeks into it. He gets hurt in the Cal game. And then they put Plumlee in. And whenever you have a coaching staff that is coaching for their jobs and gets a little hung up on perception and public perception, and Plumlee is a Mississippi kid, and he is he's kind of marketed as this all-American sort of kid. You know, he plays the piano and he plays baseball and all that stuff. And a lot of media storylines got going on that. And Rich Rodriguez and Matt Luke kind of overplayed their hand a little bit there. They never really let Corral have another chance. And then when they did let him have chances at that point, he'd lost confidence, and then he didn't play particularly well. And so I don't know. I think if you're going to go with a young quarterback, and they took Matt Corral to SEC Media Days as a redshirt freshman. If you're going to go with a young quarterback, you've got to give him an opportunity. You've got to let him fail a little bit and learn how to fail, and they didn't. They never really let him have the job back. I thought they mismanaged that position about as badly as you can mismanage a position last year.
Well, Matt Luke, there's a reason he's not the coach anymore.
So what's next on the list after Mississippi State, LSU?
So Georgia at Arkansas. I mean, that's a no-go.
Chances are -12.
Yeah, Mm-hmm.
Alabama at Missouri. I mean,
0.2, maybe.
How is Missouri doing as far as COVID and quarantine and stuff like that?
Drinkwitz told us on Saturday night that they have at least 12 guys out for COVID reasons. That does not include 2 guys who opted out, who weren't major players anyway. We don't know if it includes regular injuries, but they're going to be at least without 14 guys. We don't know who they are. He's not going to tell us. I did think it was funny, though. The same day he told us that, I saw a tweet from Cecil Hurt that Nick Saban said he did not know of anybody that was for sure out for the Missouri game, and he would not be providing an update on it. So I enjoyed that. That seemed about right.
Well,
I mean,
that's great.
Like, look, these coaches aren't obligated, right, to tell us how many guys they have out. I don't care one way. I mean, the team you cover, you'd like an update. You'd like to not show up to the stadium and find out there's 22 dudes not there, but they're not obligated to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right?
In Auburn, in the start, we would give you lots of numbers, and then as we've gotten closer to the game time, it's like we're getting less and less and less, But he did say the other day, no new positives or quarantines this past week. So Auburn, starting Tuesday, when they do their real practices for the week, they're going to be presumably at full strength unless something's happened in the last 48 hours. So that's
I'm
good
actually waiting for the opposite thing to happen. Like one week, Jalen Waddle he's out, and then all of a sudden he's back there to return the opening kickoff on Saturday, and Nick Saban's like, nah, just fucking with you guys. He was good, man. False positive.
What are you going to do, sue me? So are you going to go?
Right.
Hey, the game.
27 dudes out, and all of a sudden 85 guys run out the tunnel.
Alabama game at Missouri. You're going to do the game from the house, right?
Yeah, Mitchell's going to go over there. I'm not. Yeah,
how are you handling your game, Neal?
Well, it's a good question because the guy that was going to go for me, he had to pull out today. So, yeah, it was a tough blow. But I'll be honest, guys, I don't know how imperative it is to be there. I mean, in any way, everything's via Zoom. You'll have 4 hours worth of phone calls to accumulate information before the end of the game anyway. And we're just going to be on the air or on YouTube all day long. And I'll get on the Zoom. I'll write a column. I'll put some stuff together. It's just going to be different. I mean, to be honest, I don't really know what it's going to look like.
Right? I think the schools are going to send the videos out. You don't even have to be on the Zoom.
Yeah, well, I don't trust people.
The only thing I question is how quickly they turn that stuff around.
Right. It may be Sunday afternoon, but
no, it wouldn't be that slow. I don't trust the questions, man. There's only like 4 or 5 people at Auburn that I would trust their questions, really. Yeah. And if I'm one of them,
they're gonna prioritize people asking questions that were actually at the game. Like if you want to ask a question and you weren't there, and 7 people who were there want to ask a question, you're in line behind those 7 people, which I'm cool with.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sure. We're going to send, I think we're going to send 2 to the game.
Questions. I mean, I know everything, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're streamers now.
I watched, yeah.
I
know who should be fired.
What other games we got, McCready? We got Alabama at Missouri.
Tennessee at South Carolina.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
I mean, I think if you're going for an upset, if you're willing to call South Carolina an upset, there's your upset.
Yeah. Tennessee has not started super fast the last few years. Haven't looked great coming out of the gates. They had like 44 dudes out for a while.
Yeah. Wonder if that made a difference in their preparation, just kind of slowing them down.
I think it comes down to do you trust Jeremy Pruitt or do you trust Will Muschamp? Maybe you don't trust either one of them.
Yeah, maybe neither one of them.
And then the last one, I can go ahead and tell you, there's a 0% chance of anything happening. Vanderbilt at Texas A&M. It's just nope.
Is A&M really good? I mean, I'm not saying that Vanderbilt can win that game. I'm not at all. But is A&M really good?
No, I don't think so. But A&M's an above-average team.
Okay.
And everything I hear out of Vanderbilt is that they are historically bad.
Oh no.
Vanderbilt Vanderbilt and Arkansas, I believe, will be double-digit underdogs in every game they play. The SEC really should have played them against each other, right? Or do on championship weekend, do what the Big Ten is doing, where you got that big Vanderbilt-Arkansas matchup that everybody get all jacked for in, like, Jonesboro.
Well, I've said this. I meant it completely seriously. If I'm Arkansas, when those schedules come out, I think I would have put the call in that goes, seriously? You know we haven't won a game in 3 years. You know that from a program standpoint, we need to win a game. You screw us and don't give us Vanderbilt?
So you would have pulled the Nebraska?
Nah.
You saw their one in this morning about their schedule.
Yeah, they're not happy.
Cried to play, and now like we want to play. Well, we don't want to play them though.
Well, their schedule
it does. Want to play.
Nebraska looks like they got punished by the Big Ten for filing a lawsuit.
Hey, yes. Good if they did, but those teams were on Nebraska's schedule already. And like I saw the AD, there was a quote from the AD that said, "I've got a good team and a great coach that deserves a chance to be contenders again in the Big Ten." You don't deserve. You want to be a contender, get better at football. Like they don't owe you anything. You've been in the league for 17 minutes.
I tried so hard to because Nebraska's been shitty for a while now. I mean, they had Taylor Martinez and they got into the championship game. What is that? 4 or 5 years ago, which is not shitty, but you know what I'm saying.
Championship game.
Yeah, they got into that. They got into their conference championship game. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna Google this. I don't think they've ever played a Big
Wasn't
Ten
Taylor
game.
Martinez the quarterback at Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had this incredible run that Gus Johnson had an orgasm over. It was like one of the most incredible plays I'd ever seen.
Oh, hey, yeah, they did make one against Wisconsin, apparently.
Yeah, was it maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago? How long ago was it?
I'm looking for the date on the game. 2012.
Jeez.
Yeah, Monty Ball had 201 yards and 3
years ago.
And Wisconsin hung 70.
No. Nebraska was far inferior. I'm just saying Taylor Martinez had an incredible touchdown play in that game. It was like an 80-yard run, and he was doing all kinds of all over the place and faking passes and juking guys, and it was an incredible play. That's
you could 100% have taken money off me by saying has Nebraska ever played in a Big Ten title game. There's no way I would have said yes.
So they weren't shitty at that point, but when I was a kid, when we were kids, Nebraska was a national powerhouse.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it was the best program in the country.
And now it's
right there with Florida State and Miami.
But you have the quote that you had earlier, Gabe. It gets to the point of what's going on with Nebraska is that they feel like they deserve to be back like that just because they have Scott Frost. And I have questions about Scott Frost. He did a great job at UCF, but he hasn't done shit in Nebraska. He's actually moved them down.
They think they deserve it because they're Nebraska. For fans that look, I know a lot about the Big 12 because I was there for a lot of time. That's the Big 12's version. That fan base is the Big 12's version of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, hey, we're good 22 years ago. So damn it, you better respect us and think we're good today too. But you're kind of not really.
Whatever. Big Ten, just the whole concept of them saying they weren't going to play out of the dangerous situation for the kids, and now they've gone back on that. These protocols are crazy. I feel like they're setting themselves up to get shut down. Daily testing. Each school has a chief infection officer. Who is that? If you test positive, you have a minimum 21 days where you can't play. 21 days? If your team positivity goes over 5%, the whole program gets shut down for a period of time.
Missouri would be shut down. Auburn's been over that,
absolutely,
right?
Yes. Auburn would have been over that.
5% is 7 players.
Well, here's the other thing, too. I was talking to a Big Ten coach today who said their concern is that they're doing these antigen tests.
Yeah.
These rapid antigen tests. And his concern was not, hey, the whole COVID thing. It was, do we know the tests are reliable?
Well, and they said if you test positive for an antigen, they have another test you have to – it's almost like it just kind of moves you into another queue, It's not just that.
His concern was that it just gets so confusing after a while with, okay, he was positive here, then we did another test and he wasn't. Just all of that stuff. Just thinks it's going to be a cluster. I read Bruce Feldman's story this morning along these lines about the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 coaches are just furious. They're like, there's no way we can get ready for a season at the end of October. It's not possible. We need more time. He goes, we say we care about the players, their health and security is number one, and then we're going to put them in a football game where they're not prepared physically to play. Forget the COVID. We're going to get people hurt. There's a lot of that in that story, a lot of anger. Because like some of the programs have sent kids home. Like Stanford, their players aren't on campus.
Oh, really?
Cal just started back. Yeah.
Well, and the Pac-12 has a whole different deal. Like Stanford wouldn't even be allowed to practice. Those teams in California can't practice right now because of the wildfires and everything going on out there. They got a whole different set of problems.
Word.
The air quality's really bad. So they're just one Pac-12 coach in that Feldman column, which was a really good column by Bruce. He said it's just not going to happen.
Wow.
People dropping F-bombs and stuff in that story. It was coaches worked up.
Well,
I at least respect the Pac-12 for kind of sticking to what they did as opposed to the Big Ten, like changing their mind and pretending it's about, daily testing, fine. That's a little bit, but it's more about Ryan Day and Nebraska being really loud and Ryan Day wanting to win a national title. That's what it's about more than anything. Public pressure.
It was public pressure. I think it goes beyond Ryan Day and Nebraska. I think it goes to all of these other leagues got started and they played games. And that's before the SEC. And I think they knew that, oh, hell, if the Sun Belt is going to play and that's going to get people this worked up, what's going to happen when they turn it on and there's Kentucky and Auburn and there's, LSU and Mississippi State and there's Tennessee and South Carolina all on Saturday, number one. And then, the Big 12 starts playing and Texas plays and OU plays and all that stuff. And I think they just looked at it and said, we're going to get killed. What are we doing? Mm-hmm. And they went back into, cover your ass mode.
Mm-hmm. They're going to get shut down. There's going to be multiple programs that get shut down. It's going to have to happen. 5% team population test positive.
See, I think they'll change the rules between now and then to make sure they play.
That would be even weaker, man. But yeah, Auburn would have been shut down.
Done the weak thing now. When you say point blank, we're not going to play. We're not going to revisit this, and then a month later, not only do you revisit it, you start to cram a season together. You already pulled the weak stunt. Now looking like you're flip-floppy. You can't say we just found that we can't do it when everybody else does it.
I'll tell you one thing I will not be going back on is my insistent belief that Cathead products, Cathead spirits are absolutely delicious. They're incredible. Cathead Distillery out of Jackson, Mississippi, makers of fine spirits and champions of independent restaurateurs throughout the Southeast. Bars, restaurants, they are champions of those folks. And encourage everyone to go out and eat if you feel safe doing so and enjoy what your local eateries have to offer. Cathead, they have in their array the Blue Cat, their standard vodka, their Gold Cat, the honeysuckle vodka, the Green Cat, the pecan vodka, which comes in really handy when in certain kinds of drinks. You just really need that. Neal had discussed one 2 or 3 weeks ago.
The Mississippi Mule.
Yeah, the Mississippi Mule. Also, I had one bottle of the Green Cat that I just kept it in the freezer and drank that one straight, and I thought it was delicious. Don't judge me. The Old Soul, which I always keep around for daily drinker. Delicious bourbon right here. It's kind of nutty, but it's great for a daily drinker for sure. Also, the Bristow Gin. The Hoodoo Chicken Liqueur, which is a great after-dinner drink. A little thicker, kind of chocolatey, actually, when I drink it. You could also say it has some coffee flavor to it as well. And something that I was just dealing with today, they also sell the Comfort and Mercy hand sanitizer. I have a bottle right here. My daughter came home because she was evacuated away from her college down in Mobile, and both of her spray cans were empty, so I filled them up. This is wonderful to put in a little spray. You get it on your hands, you feel really clean, and it's not sticky at all, which is what I love. You can check them out. They have a whole website just for selling that at comfortandmercy.store. You can buy it there in the 5-gallon buckets, 16-ounce bottles, 12-ounce bottles, or single-use packs. Cathead, again, catheaddistillery.com. You can check them out on the web. Good folks, good products. We love Cathead.
Yeah, I use that. I'm not a big martini drinker, but Laura is. Busted out that Bristow Gin. I can make a mean martini now. Bristow Gin makes a fantastic martini.
I was over at McCrady's house the other day. I drove over Friday to kind of work on some stuff with your show, to get some of your technical stuff put together. And I was so immersed in trying to get your stuff put together the way that I thought that it should be done that I saw Laura. Laura, I guess, had just come home for a short period of time, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to her very much. And it makes me sad.
I offered to leave the room for a little bit,
Yeah. I think I like her more than she likes me, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of the story of my life, but she's a lovely lady. Yeah. I really like your house. It's nice. It's clean. It's you've got your little area there where you can work and not have to worry about your wife disrupting you or you disrupting the family. It's a great little home. I really enjoyed going by to see you, Neal.
Well, Jay, all jokes aside, I know we goof around a lot, but it was incredibly nice of you. It meant a lot to me that you would come all the way over here to do that, and you solved a lot of problems.
It was fun, man. It was a beautiful day for driving. The hurricane had just blown through our area, so it was like sunny or like hazy kind of. Cool. It was like 70 degrees. It was a great day for a road trip. So, I mean, it was good to go over there and help you and hang out. And got to see an awesome liquor store. What liquor store was that?
It was High Cotton over, on Jackson Avenue.
I wish they had a place like that in my town, dude. They had all kinds of cool stuff.
Hey,
Joplin's only like up 2 or 3 really good liquor stores.
Joplin's only 8 or 9 hours past Oxford. Just saying.
I wanted so badly to come see you too, Gabriel. I just wish you lived a little closer. I mean, Columbia's a long way out, man.
Yeah, it's right there. I mean, right in the southeast part of the country. But it's a deceptively long trip for being such an eastern town.
Yeah, it's a very eastern town. You're absolutely right about that.
Eastern. Yeah, it's amazing how to get to the SEC East team. Jay, you could come here and we could drive to St. Louis and then drive 2 hours west and we'll be in the SEC East town of Como.
Almost. I wonder, seriously, how far is Como?
We're talking about adding Utah in the SEC Far East this year, I think.
How far from Ole Miss to Como? Is that maybe 8 hours?
About 7.5, something like that.
7.5 to 8.
Yeah.
You basically drive to St. Louis and then over.
Yeah.
And St. Louis is about 5.5 hours from here. And then Como's another 2.
You can take 55 from Memphis up through up to South St. Louis. It's a lovely route.
Well, yeah, you'd be going through Cape Girardeau, which is where my mom went to college. So that would be a step back in time, I'm sure. But Gabriel, what's weird is when I went to Missouri, Auburn played in Missouri maybe 16. Was it 2016?
Yeah.
I guess we weren't tight enough for me to like kick it at your house and get drunk with you and your wife and your kids or whatever. I don't know.
It was a night game, and you didn't stay, I think, in Columbia. You stayed a little out of town. But, yeah, it was like a night kickoff. Like, I didn't leave the stadium till like 1:30, so there wasn't a lot to do.
Yeah. I had a hard time getting out of that stadium.
Like, sat in the parking lot and drank.
You know what was really sad yesterday, guys? It was kind of depressing a little bit. Yesterday was supposed to be, before the COVID stuff on the schedule, it was going to be Auburn at Ole Miss yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was an absolutely beautiful day here, like 75, 76 degrees and mostly sunny. And there was a cool breeze kind of all day. And it would have been just a perfect day, or especially night, had that been a night game, a perfect night for a football game.
Texas State, Louisiana Monroe didn't do it for you, huh?
Well, I mean, Texas State cheated, and that pissed me off. And so it became obvious that they
wait for water skiing season, though.
Yeah, we will get them back because no one in San Marcos knows how to ski, and when they come to Monroe for that rematch, we're going to shove slalom so far up. May
not be water in San Marcos.
Well, there may not be. There'll be plenty of it on the Ouachita River when we get their asses on that. And Bayou to Seared, we'll drown them on the Bayou, man. We'll ski past them all day.
You own the Ouachita River.
But I can't wait to put Texas State in the ski jump. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
I don't want to get through this whole thing. Speaking of bodies of water, I don't want to get through this whole thing without finding out about your Titanic conspiracy theory here. What happened?
Is it even a conspiracy theory? It's just the truth, right, Neal?
No, I have no idea.
I believe it's true. I'm pulling it up right now because this is a major.
It's true. He read it from his uncle on Facebook.
It's true. Obviously.
This is a true story. I'm trying to get to it right now. Hold on. You guys just be patient.
Well, I could give some pre-story on this. Obviously, we all believe or have been told that an iceberg is the reason that the Titanic sank, that they basically ran aground against an iceberg that was mostly underwater, gashed the hull, and then it went down. But McCready, noted scientist,
yes,
historian,
is now kind of gotten his claws into this new story where there's some people who think there's an alternate explanation for what happened to the Titanic.
All right, I'm going to pull it up on this computer. I was trying to go 2 computers, and that's obviously not working.
Long story short, they were believed to have like essentially a radar problem or a guidance problem.
Well, there was a solar issue that night on the planet where all of the compasses were thrown off, and the Titanic lost its bearings and was 13 miles off course. Didn't know where it was, and that's why it wasn't that they ran into an iceberg. They would have had that charted. I mean, icebergs were completely, they lost all communications also. And so instead of being able to have a speedy rescue, they couldn't be found.
But they did still, I mean, they still hit an iceberg. The story is why they hit the iceberg, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pulling it up. Here we go. Titanic Facts. I'm going to read this to you. It'll be much better now. This is the source of this is myunclelarry.com. No, it's actually it's actually popularmechanics.com is the they're not exactly known for their yeah. He says, just when we think we know everything there's to know about the Titanic, unsinkable ship, giant iceberg, I'm the king of the world, etc., along comes fascinating new research that raises big questions about what really transpired on that fateful night of April 14th, 1912. Did a weather fluke from space actually cause the Titanic to sink? The new study's key finding is that the northern hemisphere was in the grips of a moderate to severe magnetic storm that night, which could have altered the Titanic's navigational readings, affecting both its planned course and the information the crew shared about their location during SOS signals. The idea, according to Popular Mechanics and myunclelarry.com, is pretty simple. The sun, which is powered by an innate nuclear dynamo that's burning at millions of degrees, is covered with sunspots. These, in turn, are punctuated by giant explosions the size of the Earth or even larger, called solar flares. In a matter of just a few minutes, they heat material to many millions of degrees and release as much energy as 1 billion megatons of TNT.
Wow.
NASA explained. These flares are often caused by magnetic changes or crashes, and their explosions cause magnetic ripples throughout the solar system. It makes intuitive sense that the hottest thing in the solar system experiences extreme reactions to swirling and changing magnetic fields. Says one of the reasons that the Earth is a successful habitat for living things is that humans have a protective magnetic field that deflects a great deal of solar radiation and cosmic wind that would otherwise blast us into a bald, lifeless, Mars-like planetary surface.
Interesting.
So back to the Titanic, what they say is at that time they're exploring a theory that mirages or other visual distortions played a part in the sinking. And they're using weather and space data to explore that theory. They said if a solar flare is severe enough, marked on that historic night by the telltale aurora borealis, how do you say that?
Borealis.
Borealis, thank you. It can skew the Earth's magnetic field and wreak havoc with magnetic instruments like compasses. Even today, solar flares interfere with the electrical grid and space traffic, and forces precious file backups have to be kept in protective Faraday cages.
Damn, how about that? That's crazy. Why didn't they just use GPS?
Said that the Titanic's fourth officer, Joseph Boxall, worked out the ship's SOS position, and Boxall's position was about 13 nautical miles off of the real position. The rescue ship Carpathia likely had the same wrong information, because the compasses of the Carpathia could have been under the influence of the same geomagnetic storm for 5.5 hours before and after she received the Titanic's SOS and until she reached the lifeboats. So there you go. There's more to it than just,
It wasn't just the captain up there having chicory liqueur.
No.
But we still get back to the basic thing, which is Rose could have saved Leo's life by just Jack's life, just by letting him on the damn raft. And instead she was like, no, I mean, I love you, but no.
I'm fairly confident that's the biggest blockbuster movie that I've never seen.
You've never seen it?
No.
It's worth just seeing Kate Winslet because she's hot.
Didn't really want to see it at the beginning, didn't care that much. And then after a few months, it became a point of pride where I refused to see it because everybody said I had to see it.
but she's
Kate
hot.
Winslet's peak right there.
Yeah, she's really hot, Gabe. Why wouldn't you want to see her?
I don't know. I knew what was going to happen at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I knew the plot. I didn't need to invest 3 hours in it.
I'll say this. I mean, I saw it, but it's not like a memorable movie that I want to see again, unless I'm looking at pictures of Kate Winslet. I mean,
do you guys have a movie where people are like, "What do you mean you never seen that movie?" There's some. I mean, Neal and I hadn't seen Goodfellas, and then Jay made us watch it. I watched that.
what did you thought it was at least solid, right?
Oh, it was a good movie. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I just saw it up. I just saw a story recently on CNN, I think it was, where it was like, I'm defending Goodfellas as the greatest mob movie of all time. I don't know about that. I thought The Godfather was pretty damn good, but Goodfellas is really good. Grind Hard in the chat says that would be Top Gun or Rocky.
Ooh. You've never seen any of the Rockies, or just not the original?
I've never seen the original Rocky, and I know that for a fact. I saw the one with Clubber Lang, and then I saw the one with Drago.
3, that's 4.
The original Rocky actually won an Academy Award.
Won Best Picture. Yeah.
Avery says It's a Wonderful Life. That's another movie I've never seen myself, so I'm with you on that one.
I've seen that one. It's okay.
I've seen parts of it.
I think it's like antiquated. Like people who
I
are
take
like
a lot of
80.
shit for never having seen Roadhouse.
I've never seen Roadhouse, so I'm with you on that one too.
I don't think I've seen it either.
Leif B says Usual Suspects.
Excellent movie.
Yeah, it's a
Tarantino.
to me that's like
Or not Tarantino. I'm sorry. I had that confused with something else. But no, it's a good movie.
Usual Suspects has a great ending, and I feel like it's just kind of an average movie until the great ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty epic.
My movie hot take is I thought you and Jay, I know you're going to disown me.
Oh,
with
it's
this.
BS. I don't even know what it is.
I think Pulp Fiction is just a very average movie.
I don't like it very much.
There was a time when I would have fought you over that, but now I think it's good. It's not as epic as I thought it was when I first saw it.
Reservoir Dogs is better.
Reservoir Dogs is underrated, I think. Tarantino, I wonder, 20 years from now when he's finished with his career, if we're going to look back and say he's one of the true geniuses of cinema. There was a time when I would have fought somebody who didn't agree with me on that. But now I look at it, and now it just seems kind of hacky to me. I don't know. I know he's kind of hacky anyway. Like, he's kind of reverberating things that he saw when he was younger. Concepts and filmmakers that were important to him when he was a teenager and he's 20 years old. He kind of mimics them. But I don't know. I'm not as into him as I used to be.
Sometimes I think they end up making too many movies, and they water down their body of work. You see that with authors all the time.
Yeah, I read a lot of books, Neal. I'm just kidding. I don't read any books. My daughter asked me a good question today. She said, is there a particular filmmaker that when this person puts out a film, you're going to go see it no matter what? And I thought there is one for me, Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't care what he puts out. I would watch it. Do you even know who that is, Neal?
I don't.
He did Boogie Nights, Magnolia, There Will Be Blood. He's ringing a bell for you. Punch Drunk Love. Nothing. Gabriel?
I've seen a couple of, like, we've talked about Boogie Nights. I didn't love it. I know you love it. It's fine.
It's like my favorite movie of all time.
I will tell you guys real quick before we stop. This podcast is always brought to you in part by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi. They're also home to the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory team. So all you got to do is get in touch with 401k, with the Pinnacle Trust 401k advisory services team. You'll get a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. Tell them that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on this podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Jay uses John. A lot of people do. He just does phenomenal work. If you're looking for deals right now, a lot of people are starting to travel again a little bit because there's some great discounts out there. Resort hotels that normally would be $1,300-$1,400 a night, you can get them for $250 a night. Book a vacation that you wouldn't be able to book really otherwise, certainly not at that price. All you got to do is get in touch with John. Just give him some parameters and a budget. He'll give you options, and you don't have to live anywhere near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on this podcast.
Another thing I want to run by you, it's similar to the movies thing, are these streaming services. It seemed like, 2 or 3 years ago it was Netflix and nothing else, and now there's a whole bunch of people in that space. And administrative assistant and I are having to kind of think about what we want to do. Currently, we are members of Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Apple TV Plus, and HBO Max. And is this the way it's going to be like 5 years from now, that like just to watch stuff, you're going to have to be streaming it? Like ESPN will be a streaming thing. And you think we'll get to that point?
Yeah. The U.S. Open, the Peacock, NBC has Peacock now, and so they put a couple hours of the U.S. Open on it Thursday and Friday, obviously to try to get people to sign up. And I do find it kind of funny, right? Everybody got mad about cable. Well, we're going to streaming. We're going to save all this money. And now these streaming services are raising prices and making things tougher to watch. And people act surprised. You know, it's like the whole argument about, well, get rid of the NCAA. Well, you're just going to create something that's going to then become a different version of the NCAA. I mean, the streaming services are going to become what cable was, and they're going to be everything people were mad about 15 years ago.
It's interesting.
You know,
you're just going to go from paying one big fee to DirecTV or Comcast or whoever to paying a bunch of fees that all combined equal the same thing. It's just going to be a matter of what you're willing to spend to be entertained. And there will be some people that will be minimalist, and there will be some people that will want the whole array of packages and everything in between, which is sort of exactly the way it is now for people who are DirecTV customers or who are Comcast customers or AT&T or whatever. There's some people are willing to drop $300 a month for television. Some people are only willing to drop about $30 a month, and you get what you pay for.
I just don't know. I couldn't walk away from any of these right now. I mean, HBO Max has got a lot of cool shit on it. Apple TV Plus is how I watched Ted Lasso. We saw the morning show on that one. Amazon Prime, I think got some stuff Courtney watches, like the Downton Abbey or some crap like that. I'm not interested in that. Hulu, we've been watching Fargo, which is a great show. And she's been watching Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, too. And then Netflix has got all kinds of stuff. I can't imagine turning off Netflix at this point. So,
here's what you do. Like, I signed up for Showtime 30-day trial to watch, I forget, one documentary series was on, and I watched it, and then I just canceled it. Like, before I paid. I'm like, no, I watched what I wanted to watch. I don't need it again.
Do you ever set timers to make sure you remember to like unsubscribe there, or how do you put that like on your phone, or what do you do with it?
Yeah, I put it in my calendar, put a reminder to cancel it.
That's smart. Have you all seen Ted Lasso? Have you watched it?
I've not.
Heard.
I feel like Neal would get it. You'd really like it. I can't speak for Gabriel because I don't really get a feel for what you like.
Like Neal would get it. Gabe that might be a little over your head. You might not be quite smart enough to get that one.
It's about an American football coach who goes over to England to coach soccer.
Oh, I have seen that.
It's kind of it's hacky, but I mean, you know that going in, it's a family. It's a feel good family
sitcom, right? Pretty funny.
Yeah. It's real light. Like it. It's very light.
Yeah, I probably would like it. Like I love Schitt's Creek. I watch it all the time.
Yes.
It just makes me laugh.
I think that you would get a kick out of Ted Lasso if you are a subscriber. Gabriel, I don't know about you. I feel like you're more of a critical thinker than me and Neal. I don't know.
Did you like Arrested Development, Jay?
Tried. It was a little too much for me. A little too niche-y. I don't know what the right word is. Just like that real dark humor. I like it sometimes, but you can't do a whole show on it. For me, anyway.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. All right. Well, it's game week. You guys enjoy the coverage. Gabe, looking forward to your show there at Power Mizzou on Wednesday as you enter the big, brave world of YouTube streaming. Just jumping right into the deep end. It's going to be awesome to watch you flail and ultimately swim.
Oh man, that's almost negative, bro.
No. At first, it's going to be overwhelming, like it was for us.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I can do it.
I'm really fired up. I'm so glad to see you guys becoming such great streamers. Well, I mean, I can't really speak for Gabe yet, but Neal, I mean, you ran your own show the other day. That's unbelievable, dude.
I told you there's only one way for me to learn it, and that was to do it. I can't observe. I have to do.
I'm gonna go stream some Patrick Mahomes.
All right, get to it. All right, that does it for this episode number 115 of Greatest Pod in the South. Don't forget ACSLLCMS.com, Cathead, Pinnacle Trust, John Edwards, all the people that make this possible. For Gabe DeArmond, for JG Tate, I'm Neal McCready. Have a great week. We'll talk to you again next weekend. Take care.
All right, guys. Good stuff.
We'll talk to you guys.
Hey, Gabriel, if you need any assistance, man, I'm here, bro.
Yeah, I'll shoot you. Let me know what time works tomorrow. I'll give you a call.
Okay, man.
All right. Thanks, man. See you.
Y'all be good. Well, there they go. Uh-oh. There go my friends. Oh, no. I guess I have to go to a two-man then. Yeah, there we go. And John Edwards is still the GOAT. Absolutely. Grindhard, thank you for watching the show, for being there for us today. Avery, Leif B. Let's see, Phil was in here for a while, too. Appreciate you guys jumping in there and being part of the show. You guys are always there. Very, very good supporters. Good folks. So I guess we'll wrap it up around there. We were a little bit short on the show. I think we were 56 minutes, which is pretty short for us. We usually go about an hour and 5, but it is the witching hour on Red Zone, which we talked about on the show. So they're probably wanting to get off and go see that. And I think the Chiefs are about to fire up too. So I'm fired up. It's game week. Auburn's going to be playing at home against Kentucky. Ole Miss has got, I know the answer to this question. Somebody good. Is it Florida? And well, I guess they're technically waiting to see who the quarterback's going to be for them. I think it's going to end up being Corral, the way that Neal mentioned. Yeah. Everybody's kind of pulling for John Reese, but I feel like it's kind of a straightforward call for them from a coaching perspective. That's just kind of what I've heard. So we got games coming up. Finally, guys, it's just like it's going to be a tough week for all of us, just kind of knowing that Saturday is going to be finally a return to normalcy. We get to see our teams and stuff. It's like, finally. Even though it's going to be socially distanced, we can't go to the games. We got to do Zoom, et cetera, et cetera. At least we got football. So hope you guys have a great week out there. Appreciate you guys supporting our show, watching our show, et cetera, jumping in on the chat as well. And if you guys are Rebel Groves people, be sure to check them out. They're going to have lots of content this week. Same for us at auburnsports.com. Don't know if we have any Missouri folks, but if you're at Power Mizzou, you know what's at. You know what time it is. Gabe does a great job, as does Mitchell. And be sure and tune in for their big game against Alabama coming up this weekend. All right, guys. I'm going to bounce. See you guys. Appreciate you. Yeah. See you guys.